Give your attention to all the wonderful readers, players, and whoever, whatever is going to happen. That is in the spirit of Jack Kerouac and Lowell, which is everybody in town, everybody from the town, or people like myself who were visiting the town to love it, can pay our respects and to our great author, Jack Kerouac, and to the wonderful city that he came from that celebrates him as the world does more and more. Jack Kerouac's hometown of Lowell, Massachusetts. So we're going to begin with a salute to the new cafe, and hope you enjoy it. And then you're going to hear Jerome Harris play about 14 choruses, and in case you sight lines you can't see, this is Jerome Harris. And you'll see him here. this microphone, can you hear in the back? Can you hear him swing? All right, thank you. It's just a joy to be here with Jerome and all the other members of our group too. At this wonderful cafe, used to be Cafe Dioso a long time ago. But its elegance has returned in a brand new shape, and we're so glad that you all came here. And we even found it ourselves, and we're going to hear a wonderful bass player play What Is Dear. Mr. Rene Hart plays bass. His customary Amazing Grace. Well, we came to this Amram Jam to hear, for you to hear, all of who are here today. Just before we have them come up and speak or sing or play, we'll let the old piano player play 2 choruses as well. And then we're going to have Kevin Twigg play a drum solo as we clap along. That's the only story we got to tell. It's about the end of the song. But before we go to the conclusion, to avoid confusion, we're going to have someone play 12 bars. And of course, it's Jerome Harris. In case you walked in late, you can see what's right, not what is wrong. So after one chorus for Jerome, we want to thank all of you and all the readers and people who are coming up who Mike's going to announce, because that's what he's so good at what he do. Now, the golden voice of the Merrimack Valley, Mr. President Mike Flynn.
Thank you, David. Let's hear it for the band. Maestro David Amram, Kevin Twigg on the drums, Rene Hart on the bass, and the incomparable Jerome Harris on the electric guitar, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we're also, a lot of you are familiar with the Amram Jam. Some people might be new to it. Like an open mic, everybody who signed up gets 5 minutes. The band's going to improvise behind you. So come on up and do your thing when I call your name. First one on the dais, one of my favorite poets, the man to my left clad in blue, the one and only Mr. Jim Dunn, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Mike. 31 years ago, I read at the Sugar Shack with Dave, and I was kidnapped. I was in jail for a while in Beverly, Massachusetts, but I'm back. So it's great to be here. It's an honor to be back, and I think Butcher was there, maybe Meg Smith. So a year and a half ago, Dave read with Willie Alexander at the Town and City, and it was a very magical time. They performed together at the sound check. So Willie turned 82. He's right behind you. And this is my poem for Willie Alexander, Gloucester, Massachusetts. So. And it can be applied to you. The title is The Soul and the Sound of the Man with the Dancing Hands. From Bass Rocks to the slippery cliffs of Rafe's Chasm, I hear the resounding ring of your Afro-Cuban rhythm. It's the beat, way down to your shoes. It's the beat to keep. It's the Beatitudes. It's the beat in the heart. It's being beat and down in the world. It's the rhythm of your rocking and the roll of your soul. The rhythm of the breeze, the roll of the sea, the rhythm of the rhyming sirens of the rocks, the roll of the waves, the rhythm of the beating wings, the roll of the sun arriving on the horizon. From the last echo of the velvet night to the first light of morning, you, luminous, white light, white heat of the bright orb, bursting forth from the blinding flash, shock of your locks, shooting flames from your head. In the twinkling glimmer of your saintly left eye, squinting to see the heavenly vision of you as the granddaddy of everything, of all time. The jittery strangeness of a habitual outsider, faded in France, a new rose blooming, washing cosmic Cafe Florian dishes in Kenmore Square. You can hear the rumbling shining through. But the soul has a sound, and the sound has a view. the sound of the rumble. The rumble is you. Standing jackknife, legs splayed, slouched behind your graffitied keyboard, hands dancing in unison. On the sunny side of a soaring soul. In Salem with the preacher. In the Universalist Church with circling angels. In the cathedral in Lowell with Herbert Huncke and Patti Smith. In the Rat with a radio heart. In the Cape Ann courtyard with the sea serpent sculpture. In Paradise with Yola Tengo. Willie's got it. We all got it. He catches it casually, strolling onto the stage, ripping through the fog's frenzy. A wild man still standing. A bold man with a butterfly on his right shoulder. A man of many collages. A man painting his dreams. The first man to play the Tea Party. The last man on BCN. A man for the rock of ages, who is ageless, who grows younger in the timeless fountain of his muse. Old sonic youth, old sonic vinegar, old sonic boom. Boom, boom, gaga. All things go underground with glee. Farini well framed by the festive sounds of the Fisheye Brothers. Life is the poem. Life is the poem. Life is the poem. Life is the poem. This poem is Willie. Willie is this life. The haunted life. The rock and roll life. The life of this party. The life of a man with the dancing hands, with the soul and the sound. The seagulls sing, laughing through this seaside town. Thank you.
All right, one more time for Jim Dunn, ladies and gentlemen. Well done. I will say, Jim, well done. All right, next up, coming to the mic, could I get Richard Meadows? Is Richard Meadows? Richard Meadows, all the way from Washington State, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Set this up a little.
Good.
Yay. All right.
Golden eternity. Awakening to bright October sun, brisk, refreshing air. Shroud of mystery lifted off of Jack's Lowell. Dr. Sachs has retreated, putting his horn away, waiting until sunset, creeping dusk, to begin blowing his blues again, over cracked and crooked sidewalks of dark Pawtucketville night. Each note glowing spirit lights of each station at moss-draped grotto. Wet maple leaves drop from trees, soft and melodious as Whitman's late life poems. Mighty Merrimack grumbles and churns, competing with sound of passing cars. A battle at odds in this age. In its flowing eternal rhythm, river will have final say. Mystic Jack, master of memory, with his visions of Gerard and Cody, Desolation Angels, and Maggie Cassidy. Big Sur, Bohemian Nights, giving way to overwhelming surf. End of the road, sad-eyed and dead. Where are the books?
the Kerouac way. Thank you. All right, hauntingly beautiful. Richard Meadows, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic stuff. All right, next up to the mic, a man very near and dear to my heart, and that of the band, Mr. Jason Eisenberg, coming to the mic, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to tell you a little story. I was driving up to my friend's organic farm in New Hampshire. The sun lit up the ripening corn by the roadside, and I passed a neighboring unorganic farm that had been hit from a recent hailstorm. That begs the question, how far are we from Canaan, Lord? Peppers were shotgunned, pumpkins blasted to pulp, leaf crops shredded, and a fleet of new tractors lay idle in the fields. Down the road a piece, and my friends Nawahatl Organic Farm, they had better luck. The hailstorm had only grazed their acreage. I attribute their good fortune to the forces in the universe that really gave a damn about the future of our little spinning orb in the cosmos. What a friend we have in Jesus. Plus, Henry Thoreau and his brother had canoed through the very same territory and camped at the confluence of the Nawahatl Brook and the Merrimack River, which provide the bottomland that nourishes their crops. So the stars were with my friends Euro and Italiana. Names have been changed to protect the innocent and the guilty, at least on the hailstorm front. And so the good juju was on their side too, satisfied that Jah's preferred medium is abundant as the Bible's sheaves of wheat. Anyway, I caught up with Euro and Italiana at the barn, smoking those Indian brand cigarettes, you know, the healthy kind. Part of the reason for my visit was to score a cigarette. I've been off them on and off since the cancer treatments. Nearer, my God, to thee. So we lit up in concert. Century upon century of civilization and tobacco farming behind us. The supposed future looming. The evening monsoon threatening behind peak-tipped cloud banks illuminated by the setting sun and surveyed carefully through the soggy perimeter where 3 weeks of rain and the Army Corps of Engineers had opened up some upstream dams and started to flood the farm. As I took a deep and satisfying drag on my Indian, Italiana hassled me for playing chicken with the Reaper. I told her she could have cut me off, and when the hell were they gonna quit? Italiana said she'd already sold her soul to the devil for the growing season. I said, baby, you just sold my ass to the devil. So Euro pulled the truck up to where the flooding river had backed up the brook, to within striking distance of his specialty French beans, a cash crop that was worth a good $30,000. He snapped off a few, even raw, that were just about melted in your mouth. Then the tomato fields where, after courageous tending but sad output, they had the dropsies from too much rain. Now, about the parties. Euro and Italiana had a couple of annual free-for-alls at their homestead, a mix of locals, poets, art folk, and libertines in a state where just to get a driver's license, you had to pledge to live free or die. A fairly wild bunch of contrarian libertines. Well, okay, they're not that wild. No real criminals. No felons as far as I know, unless you count Roy, a really talented chef who just got out of the slammer on the kind of charges you can't even mention in mixed company. Just folks who have hacked their own path through the jungle, let's say. Everyone's yakking and screaming over the Ethiopian music, pumping from the stereo, swaying and staggering to the beat, spilling drinks on the carpet, doing circus tricks, a mosh pit of bodies and laptops and dogs and cats and firewood and all that jazz, and a bounty of the real food from the farm and wines and the hard stuff. So there I was in the kitchen, braising a mess of just picked spinach and garlic in the pan, trying to have a conversation with a very nice woman. She's drunk as a skunk and very touchy-feely. Well, not exactly touchy-feely. She had me in a chokehold, hanging out to by the neck, like the floor was just given way beneath her, and she refused to go down with the ship. Which is fine, because when it comes to the ladies, I'm a touchy-feely kind of guy too. And there's no better way to impress a woman you've just met than to make her think you saved her life. But I had to pry myself out of a headlock long enough to check on the burning spinach. I added a little more oil to the pan. Turning around to continue the wrestling match, the woman, we'll call her Pam, was gone. Vanished. I'm thinking to myself, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, I just thought we had made a soul connection. Turns out she was a victim of gravity, lying in a puddle on the floor at my feet. I put my glasses on to take a better look. She was actually sort of kneeling at my feet, her arms wrapped around my ankles. I thought to myself, finally, a woman who will worship me. But was she gonna kiss my feet or throw up on them? I'll never know, because she passed out. A few of the ladies hauled her off to the drunk tank and hosed her down, and she made a rather hasty exit with her very cute tail between her legs. God save the Queen. Later on, when the farm was all quiet in the sparkling dusting of white-covered land, I joined Euro and Italiana and our friend Lucky in the sauna. A blazing fire in the barrel stove, the exquisite aroma of cedar tannins and the hellish cleansing atmosphere. As we stripped down and dove into the blast furnace, thankfully the steam from the cold water bucket mostly obscured my view of Italiana's fine, ruminous booty, and a good thing too, lest I overreact with an outer bone of circumstantial celibacy and rise to the occasion. Plus their son Archimedes and his friend were in there with us, so if my cup runneth over, I would have been seriously outnumbered, not to mention Trey Ghost. After a quick romp in the snow to cool down and another dose of the blast furnace, we declared ourselves sufficiently purged of life's toxins, and so repaired to the kitchen for a dinner of roots. After which, we discussed spending a purposeful life well spent against a life of hedonism, debauchery, and bottom feeding, until we finally agreed that any way you slice it, life's a handful, but not tonight. And so to bed, after a little bottom feeding, a pallet on the barn floor between the glowing wood stove and the big window, counting at the twinkling star in the heaven. I spent the night under the spell of chaotic, lurid dreams and journeyed 1,000 years into the future with a woody. In my time machine, a steaming ship of cedar logs with my crew of naked chrononauts at the oars, and there we saw many wondrous but many disturbing things, like there was a lot of bottom feeding going on. Then suddenly I awoke upright in my sleeping bag, the morning sun streaming through the window, and realized my dreams had been not merely a premonition of the future, but a prequel. And now, since my biopsy came back negative, and I actually have a future to contemplate for the time being, I've a renewed stake in it. But the thing I will never forget about my journey in dreamland, the thing that has burned itself into the very fiber of my memory forever, is stumbling out of our infernal time machine onto the crumbling shores of what once must have been a highway, over which towered a buckling, ruined billboard that read, "Welcome to the future. It's not what it used to be."
The one and only Jason Eisenberg, ladies and gentlemen. I think he's got a big future. All right, next up to the mic, a guy you heard lecture yesterday, but today we're going to get some of the poetic side of Mr. Hassan Malehi, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you, Mike, and thanks for coming. I'm going to start by reading I recently published a book of translated poems by a poet named Jean Fonchet. You may not have heard of him. He is in the island country in the Indian Ocean, Mauritius, where he's originally from, the best known poet. Every 2 years in Mauritius, Madagascar, Réunion, Rodrigue, the whole string of islands there, every 2 years a writer gets the Jean Fonchet Prize. He moved to Paris to go to medical school. While in medical school, won several literary prizes. He went there to write poetry also. He became a well-known psychiatrist, and his connection with the Beat Generation, well, indirectly with Kerouac, he founded a journal co-edited with Anaïs Nin, whom you may have heard of, and called Two Cities, and they published equally French language and English language writers. And three of the writers they published when they were in Paris were William Burroughs, Gregory Corso, and Allen Ginsberg. Okay, so, and this is his select, he died in 1992 at age 59 on untimely death. And just after his, within the year after his death, he published this collection called, in the French, L'Île Equinox Island, and my translation of it just appeared in August. I'm going to read you a poem that his daughter Véronique has told me is her favorite in the collection, at least the French version. And this is mine. Okay, the poem of the child tree. The rhythmic pulses of a landscape, vibrating in the veins of the tree. The brother rock and his omens were grasped in the morning, brought to me from the depth of ages. The same bird from shore to shore keeps the rhythm of lightning season. The same rowboat cast adrift dreams of giddy desert heights, of silences of water and stone. The storm bursts and the child tree, coiled up in the wind's palm, understands our brotherhood, sealed in the blood of summers. Was I a larch? Afterwards? Before? In the forests of memory, mankind plants his territories, and the child tree, born of storms, discovers the soul of leaves, nestling in the evening's heavy heart. The tree remembers the seed, the slow night of roots, the forests of resin and shade, until the call of the first bird across centuries of waiting. And I, the child of 1 second, amid the flowing gold of the broom bushes, I watch over that moment set down by the anguish of millions of years in the world's bright disorder. all these birds in my memory, and all these mallows in my eyes, to transmute into moire and fire, the landscapes that were never better defined than far from here. The tree that I call larch changes into jacarandas, flamboyant, a bloom in purple, bursting in my blood, which weighs the weight of all these seasons. The oriole in the cherry tree, the hummingbird in the mango tree, and I, torn apart by your cries, and I, suddenly discovering the price of living and fulfilling two lives. Mountains of what memory? I picked the grapes of your foresight. At least I reached the clarity of minerals. Brief light, where I discover this hand held between the tree and the stone. And the sand is once again seaweed. The manifold soul of the coral throbs, caught in the mesh of the water. The coal remembers the forests and the childhood of fire. All of it in a second's flash. And I have one more. This is from my own forthcoming collection. It's the title poem. It should be out early 2026. And the title of the collection and the poem is Doctrinal Shuffle. In the nakedness of civic planning, a few secular aims overwhelm, you got it. A few secular aims overwhelm whatever any god could have deemed the key components of human subsistence. None of us knew what was coming next, not being privy to the lofty paper pushing that informs such distilled machinations. But a sense of brotherhood issued, an imprint of unity, and so kept enough of us content and out of the way. The next step wasn't clear, but conditions were ripe. Since it didn't completely crush anyone, the ground was laid for proceeding into thicknesses none had the basic skills to sift through. So we decided to just leave it on its own. Thank you.
I saw Melly.
All right, one more time. Hassan Malahi, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Keeping on our international theme, next up, I'd like to bring to the mic Mr. Aidan O'Keefe, ladies and gentlemen. Aidan O'Keefe.
Thanks very much for allowing me to read a piece, and I'd like to thank Pete, who has been my host for the weekend, and I'd like to dedicate this piece to Pete's uncle Jim, who gave me this lovely Edgar Allan Poe pen when I met him yesterday. So this one is for Jim. What I'm going to read is the lyrics of a song by the Go-Betweens from 1987, and the name of the song is The House Jack Kerouac Built. You and I together, with nothing showing at all, in a darkened cinema, I'll give you pleasure in the stall. I want to give you tenderness and my affection too. If it's through clenched teeth, that's what you've driven me to. I want us to be lovers, I want us to be friends. I want it like it's the living end. Keep me away from her, keep me away from her. With your kittens on patchwork quilt. Oh no, what am I doing here in the house Jack Kerouac built? There's white magic and bad rock and roll. Your friend there says he's the gatekeeper to my soul. The velvet curtains, the Chinese bell. With friends like these, you're damned as well. Keep me away from her, keep me away from her. Shake off your despondency and your country girl act. You read me poetry that's Irish and so black. I know you're warm, the warmest person alive, but are you warm deep down inside? I want us to be lovers, I want us to be friends. I want it like the world crumbles and then it ends. Keep me away from her, keep me away from her. And baby, you're on the road. You're on the road with the bad crowd. And baby, you're lonely. You're on the road with the bad crowd.
Angel Keith, ladies and gentlemen. First time at Lowell celebrates Saturday. All right, next up, the man in the black hat, Mr. Nino De Gennaro, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it for him.
Okay, boys. Need a pep pill? Yes. Benzodrine. Okay. September 1978. LSD 25 cube. Jump! Jump! Jump into the stream of activity on State Street, Santa Babylonia, dressed for the long haul in t-shirt and jeans, trusty tigers beneath me, jean jacket, the very jean jacket Damien Sack and I filched off the babbling beach bum in Isla Vista a year ago. Sliding down the wood ramp into the back door, cut to Arlo bobbing and weaving in the kitchen, his Flintstone bulk in a 5'5" frame, a small koala bear of a man with hairy caveman toes sticking out of tree bark sandals. He greets me with a huge grin and somewhat sleepy, menacing eyes, which I come to recognize as stoned eyes. Not really menacing, only residual-looking natural paranoia from living in Jersey and in and around the Apple. I recognized that crazy, clear, spurious grin and knew it to be innocent in and of itself, just like Rich Wiggles back in the Bird. Only evil by implication and moralistic efforts of the system to demonize drugs, and so trusted by me implicitly as providence. Arlo smiles at me, takes me back to the dishwashing station, says, I got a surprise for you, brings out 2 rainbow-colored tissues with 2 half-inch blocks inside, and says, the evidentiary cube, man. This came from Owsley, the man, the motherlode, a friend of mine on a dead tour, just come to and gave it to me. The only thing is, the guy was drunk when he dropped the dropper. I said, dropper? He said, this is liquid, man. Ain't you ever done liquid? So he goes away, I cook the lunch shift, I'm done with the lux shift. He says, get yourself over to 1178 Oriana Drive. It's a stucco horror show over in the west side of the tracks. I got it. Zam! Boom! Pow! Arc of black light spans the rainbow edges of the lime green earth as the first twitterings in the cheeks and shiverings in the stomach begin. And I saunter gaily and like happily over the cobbled avenues of Santa Barbarella in time with the environment and myself. Shimmering yellow rose petals alongside pulsating broadsides of purple bottom blush and top sticky green plant splotches and green swatches. Blossoms become petals, become pistils with tendrils waving in the wind, leaving faint wisps of color and hyssop scent behind. The wash of my hand against the spread of the blue sky leaves a zillion tree swatches of cube. I feel like a fish out of water, and all of a sudden it hits me that I tripped out at his pad and like flew out the door. And the world sickness at the root of the heart, and why here and now amongst the rooftops are we gathered to commiserate and pontificate and generally burn the moments of our defiant celebration. I got nothing but time. Wells up in my throat of my life, and our lives were not something that every day of our lives we had to do and get done. They're not our priorities, desires, ambitions, and accomplishments, but born to simply be on the planet. Then again, what's the purpose of this freaking mother-loving obsession with my writing, for God's sake? I have to do it. The reason I sacrificed my body to this gift, the reason I suffered and died 1,000 times already in my 24 years to feel the weight of real blood coursing and pulsating through my veins. To know that I was born to illuminate, or at least to illustrate, and yet just to be the trip. Tooth fairy, bang bang, smacking smart on my ass. Saturday night USA, I got it 100%. Got my tweed pressed, got my best fist. All I need now is the girl. Woo-wee. Oh my God, my trusty tiger shoes propel me across the street. Pocket, wallet, jean and jacket. Going west, Lord, going west. West, blessed, crest, just let me in your pants, baby. I'm the best. Oh man, man alive, man, oh man. Ha ha ha. I's a live, Lord. Yes, sirree. I's a lived and died laughing. Ha ha ha. Yes, sir. I've died and loved living, laughed and died loving. Ha ha. Loved my heart out and lived to laugh about it, Lord. I died, cried, laughed. I'm dying to write it. In other words, I dreamed up a whole fantasy of my life and how my destiny was written in the stars. Dan, Tom, Arlo, and Bill White, Marvin, Giselle, Zach, Damien, Polly, all characters in the Santa Planeta. And I have to set them straight that all of our dreams and everything we've ever asked for is all coming true right now. And all we have to do is see Jesus. And I run, my breath gets heavy, heart starts beating hard. Then my vision closes into that spiral, twilight zone, how the TV used to go down to just a little. And I'm down on the sidewalk, and I can't, and it's Satan. Satan comes into my mind. Of course, get thee back, you motherfucker, get behind me. Every single image of my childhood and my life begins like placards, like comic pages on the sidewalk, flipping up everything I can remember. Before me, the dark playing cards, like black and white snapshots, faces, scenes, bicycle, Easter roses, yellow side pocket jeans, stages, choirs, church steeples, stores, belt buckles, Mancini's deli with a straw on the floor. And the comic pages keep flipping. My mother's face and my father, they're young. It's Christmas. Veins aglow, heart a piston, falling on the sidewalk as my vision spirals to black and I catch my breath, heaving on the ground and then leaping up back into the fray. Oh my God, I'm dying! Mom! Jesus, God, forgive me! Fall down to the sidewalk and then back again. Keep running, keep running, keep running. Yeah, Jesus, Son of God, have mercy on me. Show me, Lord, I'm ready. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Screaming into the night. No, you cannot petition the Lord with prayer. You cannot petition the Lord with prayer. And I see all those comic books I used to draw on Aunt Mary's hovel above our garage on those glorious, quiet Saturday mornings when no one's around to interrupt me. The joy I'd been suppressing, my God, Polly, the visceral memory of her hits me right after the childhood image and floods my heart's blood, and I can feel her femininity inside me. And I'm realizing in an instant what she was to me, a love that could never be, my super anima image of her. And down to the sidewalk again, the cement closing, coming closer to my face, then pushing me back up on my feet. A running rhapsody of Shakespearean proportions, I start reciting snatches of Mex City blues, the wheel of the quivering meat conception, my father in downtown red, me Periclete, thee Periclete. And it's all so real. And I go over to where I work, where I just finished the lunch shift, and I look over across the street, and there's Ray, the Hawaiian black-banged bartender, and he comes across the street. I'm punching palm trees and screaming. He says, Nino, you gotta stop this. You're scaring people, man. And then the handcuffs. And it's a kind guy working on his criminology degree, and he handcuffs me, but he takes me to the psych ward. And just before he puts me in the car, I hear in the bar on the jukebox that velvety voice of Nat Cole. And I shit you not, straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top.
Nino Di Gennaro, ladies and gentlemen. Live and direct from Western Pennsylvania. All right, next up, as if we couldn't take it even a little higher, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the one and only A.G. Hutch, a.k.a. Guitar George.
Yeah, sure, that'd be great. Thank you.
What are your strings? Honey, your strings.
What string?
Yeah, it's a little sharp. Let's just go with it. I got some new strings and they're kind of wound a little. They're not stretched out, so I'm just gonna go with it.
Improv, let's go.
Yeah. Did you get the pro covered? Earth, my body. Water, my blood. Air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. Earth, our bodies, water, our blood, air, our breath, and fire, our spirit. Our forefathers and mothers are here. Never fear. The all-seeing eyes of the cats where it's at. Just like Jack. Well, you were out dancing, you've been glancing, and I was listening very hard, and you were glistening. That's right, I was listening. To that New York night, where everything was all right. In the cars, in the bars, neon lights, thousands of people mingling in the fights. With the Brooklyn Dodgers, the New York Yanks, Christopher Streets, the home. Summertime, skyline sublime, chestnut salesman, newspaper, candy stores, pinball, Bleecker Street drug dealers, dope fiends, blue collars, whites, black bluesmen, old hobo, 24-hour porno store, late night jazz, bebop balula, she's my baby. Bop, 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 all the children of the night.
He's going home now, taking the one. Had too much fun. I'm gonna take that, well, I'm gonna take the I. No, I ended up on the 9. Woo. Everything felt sublime. Clickety clack, clickety clack, clackety clack clack, yakety yak. Saw babies crying for their mother's milk. Silhouettes of silk mamas. Red light is on. Tubby checker yellow cabs with cigar cars and dollar bears to anywhere. Vishnu's Krishna, St. Mary's, St. Anthony's, and the Empire State. Looks in the shadows of the black crows, Jim Crow, seagulls, snails, rickshaws, farmer market, stock exchange, crickets in the square. Oh, let's go now, go down, back to 5 spots, circle in the square. Woo. Moving ever so gracefully, imbibing an excess, and drink, and drink, and drink. Just no time to think. It was in one eye blink. The clinkety clink, 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 clink. Smells of the sewer mixed with begonias and summer days gone by. Herald Square and green parks on bench chairs. And the readers of the New York Times voraciously eating apples, biggies, cotton candies, dandelions, ecstasy, fragility, ghostly hijinks scene, codlubbers, maples, never-ending omniscient peoples, queers and Rasta, smoking tough underworld, ground vocalizing, winning expatriates, yearning zealots, into the twilight at 4:30 a.m., stumbling home in the sleeping bag rolled up behind the couch. I said, I want to sleep on your bed. He said, no, I'm going to sleep in the stairs of the master composer. Flight 1, up flight 1, up flight 1, up flight 1, up flight 2, up flight 2, up flight 2, up flight 2, up flight 3, up flight 3, ha, 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 flight 3, ha, 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 up flight 4, oh, is there any more? Up flight 5, up 5. And the silly saxophone man was going to get lucky. Better stop smoking. Better not yet, because the doctor says that lucky strikes are smooth and good for your coughs and your lungs. And Satchel Paige says mind over matter, and if it don't matter, it don't matter. In fact, Jack said, hey, make me another one of those ham lamb ramen. I want one of those ham ram ramen. It comes in with everything in the fridge. Everything in there, baby. Anchovies, onions, olives, tomatoes, leftover half-drank beer, spices and sugars and beets, and peanut butters. It cures any hangover. Just don't give it to the bird on the still, named Thelonious, you might kill him.
You did it again.
It's a little bit crazy like Bull Daisy, right? Thank you, man. Just don't pull my finger. Woo.
The one and only Hutch and the Clouch, a.k.a. Guitar George, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it for him. All right. Now from the Hutch to maybe the Sublime. Mr. A. Logan Hill, please come on out and join us on the stage. You may have heard him doing the Talking Jack Poetics yesterday. Now he's going to talk some poetic justice for us right now.
Sublime, I love that. How we doing, y'all? What's up? Happy Sunday. Well, I want to say thank you to Carolyn and George for putting me up these last few days. And George and I were driving down the street into town on Thursday, and George was like, I think I saw a cat. And I was like, well, turn around. And so we turned around and we saw this bobcat. So I wrote this poem. It's called Bobcat Blues, an American Slant for Happy Adam Guitar George Hutchinson. Bobcat Blues. A bobcat on my mind, though old neighborhood's angels driving downhill toward the sun. A bobcat in heaven sits like a lynx, keeping secrets. A bobcat in your driveway at night is Orange Kitty, howling at a slightly less full than fullest moon. On the way downtown, there was a bobcat wandering in the middle of the street, and we turned back fast to catch it. Bobcat Orange Kitty may be mistaken for mountain lion, baby's breath, slightly less than blue, black, blue. A bobcat in a dream some midday afternoon. And it named you Adam for the son of Zeus. Dionysus, like Jack, would be singing, dancing, forever wandering with bobcats yelp. How like loosening it up to the universe, to it. Hello, and happy and holy, everything holy. Midday again, half sun-kissed, beaming, halfway boot-worn and beat. And the bobcat too now resting at your feet, singing. And you and your sky-bent head, our cold, rosy cheeks awake from the rain and tired, a little blue and bruised last night from smiling. And today, Sunday, in a slight rain, happy, just for a moment or two. Turned back we spiraled, eternally back down the widening road, somewhere on your way, in a slight rain, toward heaven. And we stand there in the midst of it, the bobcats and young Buddhas smiling on our way to heaven. And you and Jack and Lynx and Dionysus, guitar, harmonica, my tortured socks, your tattered hat full with flowers. America, Dickinson, Jack and Whitman, a bobcat on our minds, all the while still happy and smiling. A bobcat or mountain lion by our side on our way back from earth to heaven, back down from blacktop visions and back to heaven and into the dark of night. Thank you.
Hey, Logan Hill, ladies and gentlemen. And I was right, that was sublime. Very beautiful, very beautiful. Let's hear it for the band, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are working hard, doing a phenomenal job. All right, next up, I'm going to bring up a guy who's a ring veteran of the Amram Jam and actually used to have the MC job before I took on the mantle, or albatross, depending on if we get through the whole list or not. Mr. Peter Eliopoulos, ladies and gentlemen. Where's Petey? There he is.
Let's go, Peter. Thank you.
Put the mic on the floor. I'm a little short here, so. I'm going to read two short poems. First one's called Earring. I found your earring, offering the small stud between thumb and forefinger. She pushes my hand away, takes a long drag on her cigarette before stubbing it out on the counter. That's not my earring, she says, exhaling as she exits. Her head is smoking. So this next one, I was thinking about this a little bit. David invited me and Kevin years ago to Cornelia Street Cafe in New York to read, and I was honored, and so of course I went down. I booked myself a hotel room at the Chelsea Hotel. I got to stay. I got some head on the unmade bed, although there wasn't a limo waiting downstairs. I made my way to the Cornelia Street Cafe. I was so excited. I had one poem to read. David leaned in and said, "Keep it clean." And I said, "Oh, fuck." I looked at Kevin, he said, So here's the poem I read that night, actually. And you know, the Rolling Stones don't rewrite their songs, so some of you may have heard this before. What is it? Hey man, This shit will fuck you up. Good shit, fucking right. Once you start, you can't stop. It will eat you up. Yeah, man, consume you. It's so good you can't stop. I've gone days without sleep. Then you finally crash. I've heard of guys going days just offing themselves because it got so bad. The more you get, the more you want. There's no stopping the thirst. It never ends. There's so much out there. It's everywhere. And wait till you get into the good stuff. The good stuff, yeah, then you've got real fucking problems. Problems because it gets in your head. You can't think of anything else. It's in your bloodstream. You can't ignore it. The more it beats you up, the more you want. When you get a lot, you get enlightened. Then you get too much, you get confused. People you've never imagined are into this shit. Some are bad, but some are a lot worse than others. What is it? It can be poison, man. Like I said, it fucks you up. Booze? Nah, it's not booze, but it can make you drunk. Drugs? Nah, it's not drugs, but it can impair you. It's not coke, smack, oxy, E, but it can make you high. And the worst part is when you come down, when you crash. That's the worst. But you pick it up again and again. What is it, man? What the fuck is it? I'll tell you what it is, man, okay? I'll tell you what it is. It's the word, man. It's the spoken word, the written word. It's poetry, man. It's lit. It's everything, man. Man, it's everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for him one more time. All right, moving right along. Another guy very near and dear to my heart and to the LCK crew, the guy who hosted the open mic yesterday and emceed the Friday night event, Mr. Dan Bacon, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only.
Thank you very much, people. Thank you very much. Thanks to Jim Dunn for the use of his reading glasses. And Steve, you don't have to worry about yelling at me. I have glasses on. Okay, so what I usually like to read from someone else. So today I'm going to be reading from Offbeat, the wonderful book by David Amram. Do what the words and music tell you to do, I said. You'll feel it. We'll follow you, and you follow us, and we'll all follow each other, and we can't go wrong. That concludes our rehearsals, said Jack. I'm ready, said the lighting designer. Fire away, I'm ready to play my axe. A minute later, the theater went pitch black, and all kinds of strange colors came from different angles, fading and blinking, like a Technicolor horror movie. As I started playing the piano to set the tone for whatever the evening might turn out to be, the lighting designer suddenly got a demonic grin. He seemed in a trance as he pushed and pulled every dimmer switch and lever on his mixing board like a new millennium DJ showing off his scratching technique at a hip-hop party. This incredible display was 10 years before so-called psychedelic lighting came into existence. He must have utilized everything in his lifetime of experience in the theater, flashing all the different colored lights, dimming and brightening every lamp at different angles and tempos, blinking and pulsating, contrasting different hues, creating instant blackouts, and even beaming lights in the audience's faces from time to time. All synchronized to the rhythms of the poetry and the music. At one point, he cut out all the lights and focused what looked like a searchlight right at Jack's head, making Jack bend over and shield his whole face like a deer caught in the headlights of an 18-wheeler. Then Jack, seemingly nonplussed, made up a whole rap about driving down a dark 2-lane highway in the Black Hills of South Dakota and being blinded by a speeding truck who was bearing down relentlessly in the wrong lane, trying to get home early to make love to his new bride on their farm in North Carolina. Meanwhile, the lights changed to make the theater resemble the inside of a planetarium. The designer added one small light projected against the Aurora Borealis tableau, with his left hand making shadows of different kinds of animals and birds in flight, all in tempo with the music. Suddenly, it seemed overnight jazz poetry was the new hot thing, and that was the last thing we ever had in mind. We weren't trying to franchise ourselves or our work or be trendsetters. We both had our life's work. Jack had his books to write, and I had my music to compose. When we worked together, aside from the fun we had, we shared an interest in finding new ways of combining the spoken word with music without any preconceived formulas. We worked together with mutual respect and understanding of the jazz tradition. Always listen, always follow one another, and always go with what the moment tells you to do. We didn't stay exclusively in the idioms of the many worlds of jazz. My music and Jack's reading and even his occasional singing of the words were done differently each time. The style of music depended on the feelings of the moment. It always comes out right. It was something we did together for the joy of doing it. Our message was for everyone present to celebrate that passing moment in time. Thank you.
Dan Bacon, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So we're doing pretty good, moving right along. We are 11, coming up to the number 11 slot, which means it's time to hear from Al Pittman, ladies and gentlemen. Al Pittman coming down to the microphone.
I gotta first of all thank this wonderful crowd and David Amram and his trio. Thank you. Appreciate it. My first time up here, I just ask one indulgence. Today is my father's birthday, the man who actually got me into my love of jazz. So I like to share 1 minute with my, hopefully ask for some audience participation. I'm gonna put on my video thing. Just either say, happy birthday, Ted, or happy birthday, Dad, either way. Just 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much, appreciate it. Now on to my poem. This is gonna be a short poem, 15 lines. This poem is a collaboration like jazz of Kerouac's, 3 things that Kerouac is known to have loved. We all know that he was a jazz man. His blues poems are very heavily influenced in jazz. But also, if anyone can correct me here, I believe maybe the Dharma Bums, he made various references to the Chinese poet Hassan. Is that correct? Yes. Yeah, thank you. I know, Cold Mountain. So this would be a collaborate, and we all know, I mean, my knowledge of Kerouac is that usually he had a woman waiting for him somewhere. That's kind of his MO. So this is a collaboration of 3 things that, Kerouac was known for. And this is an homage to the album Kinda Blue, which is pretty much around the same time as, I would say like a couple of years after On the Road was published. So this is kind of an homage to the 1950s jazz, Chinese poetry, and of course, a woman that would be waiting. Title is Living Kinda Blue. Miles Davis, his trumpet influences. John Coltrane, saxophone meditates. Romance, I struggle consistently. For that woman I appreciate deeply, in whom I anticipate sweetly. Kinda Blue is playing while I drive to her. So anxious to be with her tonight. 2 great artists, do odd spirits, as the classic Tang poets Li Bai and Du Fu also. Miles be wild, saying just go with it. Li Bai was a mystic. He wooed the moon. Coltrane, as mild, would say stay true to her. Du Fu, he lived so earthly, devoted to his wife. I would say poetry found in ancient China, music born out of the American experience. It takes words as well as notes to tell my tale. Thank you, folks.
Al Pittman, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it for him. All right. So next up, we're going to hear from maybe a mad scientist of poetry, a guy who spends a lot of time in the laboratory. That is the Lit Lab, Mr. Joshua Tarquinia, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it for him.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you to the awesome band. It's amazing to have the opportunity to perform with legendary jazz performer Kevin Twigg and his band. How about the piano player, huh? I wish, so quick preface, I published 3 semi-stream of consciousness poetry books this year. They're called Lit Lab. I have some of them on me. If anybody buys one, I give half to LCK while I'm here. So this is from the third one. It's each page is its own piece, and it all goes off into a different direction, and each one kind of tumbles into the next one. But being an experiment, some of it can't even be performed. So I have notes to myself where so this book looks like I choose your own adventure right now. But I wish the band luck in trying to keep up with me with it, and there'll be a big finish. It is a type 5, so Mike Flynn, don't worry too much about that. Yeah. All right. You know, sometimes you'll be trying to express yourself and just believe me, wow, you can't find the words you need, no matter how deep you dig into the jar where you keep them with the rusty old screws. You never know if you'll never know if you'll use. So you just gotta and away, you know what I mean? Kapow! A kaleidoscope mandala emerges from the darkness, spinning its patterns infinite in all directions and sizes. A honeycomb, a pine cone, a nautilus shell. Each compartment contains an aspect of the human experience, like tying one's shoes, buying a corn dog, and saying goodbye. Rainbow-colored and constantly shifting, as if being viewed through an invisible fluid prism. And there's a face in the middle of it all, made of shadow and color, but lacking detail, constantly changing form from feminine to masculine and back, both and neither. Amid the morphing it grows long teeth and horns and adopts a menacing snarl like a demon. It seems like a warning to turn back, that continuing on would lead to corruption, ruin, or damnation. The induced terror seems a sound instinct, but then why would hell want to scare anyone away? And if religious text on top of philosophy, on top of folktale, on top of down-home wisdom, all agree that there's salvation on the other side of that which we fear, perhaps there's less to the demon than what first appeared. So the face grows as it nears, bigger than me by meters and meters, still changing, always changing, frightening features more and more pronounced, more and more devastating, maw gapes wide, forked serpent tongue snakes side to side, rainbow ropes of viscid drool dangle from dagger teeth, and I float inside. I'm a coffee cup, hand warm on the coffee cup, talking to a pretty little thing who keeps my interest up. I'm on a work site, picketing, we're on strike, fighting for a fraction of what last year were considered rights. Now I'm on a mountainside, fleeing from a landslide. Firs and pies are toppling like twings, there is nowhere to hide. I'm in a bullpen, foaming at the mouth again. Can't wait for the gate, humiliated, and I'm seeing red. I'm in the ocean, feeling no emotion, highest on the food chain and constantly in motion. I'm on the roadside, coloring the drive while eating carbon carried by the cars until I'm sky high. I'm on a web, on a tree, on a tick, on a flea, in a hive or a hovel or the wrong end of a shovel, in a suit, in a sling, on the run, on the wing. I'm the food in the mouth, I'm within and without, but I'm pretty sure I'm still me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm still me. I'm pretty sure I'm still me. Pretty sure. Let me tell you something, you do not want to pass on this opportunity. We have steals and deals coming out of our ears for our upcoming summer, winter, seasonal, holiday sale, closeout, clearance, liquidation, top shelf floor models in every color and variety with all the bells and whistles you can shake a stick at, if that's how you like to spend your free time. Hey, they tell me, Bob, they say, you must be crazy to offer prices this insane. And I look them right in the eye for an uncomfortably long silence. I mean a really long time. Until they get that uneasy feeling in their chest like I've been replaced with a malfunctioning android, or that maybe my mind is completely gone and taken my ability to discern between right and wrong with it. I mean, I really stare at them hard, like until my eyes get all dry and red and I get like a tunnel vision and the world around their face turns all fuzzy, then gray, then black, and I start to hear voices speaking in forgotten languages, and the people telling me I'm crazy don't know whether to run away or call somebody. And then, when they finally decide they might have to do something, I smile and laugh my good old boisterous and contagious laugh. Hoo-wee-haw, that always ends with a wet cough, or on account of me laughing so hard I push out a little phlegm, and sometimes I rocket a whole loogie into the nearest potted plant, and that's how they know, that's how they know, that's how they know, that's how they know that I am the Lord Jesus Huckleberry Christ here to save them. A bundle on a brand new certified pre-owned example of pure American head-turning glitz, glamour, and gears. And I say, sir, says I, or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but I've got too many products, way too much for me to store, taking up too many square feet of the stockroom floor, and another tractor trailer full of units arrives today to bring me more. The equation is simple, you want, I got, and you won't find a better deal this side of Timbuktu or Easter Island, so come on down to Certifiable Bob's Certified Showroom and Emporium, where I'll do just about anything it takes to make sure you don't leave empty-handed. No refunds or exchanges, all sales are final. Big finish. This last one comes with an instruction at the top. It says, snap fingers and sing like Sinatra. The worse, the better. And the big finish comes halfway through the page. I'm taking the world for a whirl, sitting on a rainbow. Gonna find me a girl if I gotta search high and low. But the search for a girl just ain't the point. You gotta travel this pearl till you become the anointed. And then the horns come in like so darling, if you don't take my hand, this balloon's about to take off for the promised land. You won't recognize me when I get my wings, 'cause I'm growing wild, the world is showing everything. So come on, come on, oh come on, come on and grow with me.
Joshua Tarquinio, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for him one more time. All right. Next up is a lovely young woman who's going to entertain us for a few. Sam Martyr, ladies and gentlemen. Sam Martyr. Right there, coming up to the mic. Sam Martyr, ladies and gentlemen.
Boom. Okay then. So, this is about 29 years of being a professional fairy godmother. It'll become obvious. There are no references to cross-dressing that I could find in Kerouac. However, Ginsberg did have the hots for him. No? Yes? Yes. Yes, he did. Okay. So, little vignettes from a book I'm working on. Spackle it on. Ronnie was a fire plug of a guy, solid like a curbstone, rough graveled voice rasping out the crackled radio of his soul. He drove a truck, long haul. Not one for small talk. He got right to it. Spackle it on. He barked, like a construction foreman of beauty, like the ghost of the 60s hovering through the Woolworth's mirrors. The first time he came around, he wanted that pancake makeup thick as concrete, eyeshadow bluer than a cartoon heaven, and eyeliner like black lightning. He grunted the words over and over. Spackle it on. Like it meant something bigger than makeup. Like it meant cover it all, bury it, remake it. And I learned that maybe it did. Early 60s high school, under the bleachers, the soft breath of his first girl, thick with that makeup smell, troweled application of Max Factor pan stick, pale tangy pink makeup, pink lipstick, that joyous sin indelibly etched in his libido over decades. So I spackled it on. Painted him in the boy's dream again. Added a short jean skirt, tan pantyhose, white high heels, and led him to the tall wall of mirrors. He stood transfixed as the Motown rolled low, and there he was at his own personal prom, looking for his face in his own. Chris from Queens. You could call him a bridge and tunnel dude, but he was all bridges and bulbs, the night mechanic of the sky, Verrazano man. Hung half a thousand feet above the city, swapping light for light, along with the wind and the hum of the traffic below. Billboards, buildings, cars, streetlights. You can't imagine the way Manhattan glows from up there, the world a river of stars, dangling on the longest suspension bridge in the world. Before the advent of LED bulbs, Chris, all night long, Monday through Friday, harnessed and jaded, burned out, replacing burned out bulbs. After years of that high solitude, he needed some spark, a private rhythm. So I packed him a pink bag, silky pastel panties, sheer rose camisole, gossamer stockings. He slipped it all underneath the coveralls and continued swinging above the narrows. He said all this, the subterranean gloss, silk against skin, made the nights different as he dangled above New York City. His work now elevated. That's poetry, man, the secret kind. And then there came Miss Scarlet, crazy in the best way, catering to the absurd when it still was absurd. This client, proprietor of an enchanting toy store, had a very special order, a dozen panties. Not of sumptuous fabric, no, but polyester blends, stitched from neon dreams. Hot pink, lime green, stop me now yellow, dago orange, silly, frilly, dripping fringe and lace, fishnetty and bows, sequins blinking like city windows, tiny mirrored moons and stars catching stray green beams of jukebox light. He'd layer them all, every color of the carnival, all at once in dance of dervish mosaic. Cyndi Lauper, Girls Just Wanna Have Fun, Prince on the Edge of Sin, dusty Springfield, drifting soft and honey through the haze. He'd spin, twirl, pulling off one bright, jarring layer after another, leaving the air dizzy with joy. He'd strut and pirouette, the mirror his audience, the music his salvation, until all that remained was moist skin and the heartbeat of a cosmic comedy. Derek, 1999. Yeah. These are all true stories.
Of course.
Yeah. He came rolling in from another state, a pilgrim of possibility. The miracle of finding parking on Chiswick Road was the first sign that the universe was leaning our way that day. As he walked in, he struck me as handsome. A shock of thick black hair, emerald eyes, cheekbones like the edge of truth. He was quite short, 5 feet. We sat in the rose velvet chairs, worn down by hundreds of strange hopes, had polite conversation like you do before something big and human breaks. He spoke with the cadence of need and promise. He wanted to see himself differently, very differently. Adolescent innocence on the cusp of blooming femininity. Sweet young thing script. I gestured for him to follow me into the bedroom where I laid out the accoutrements of enchantment. A collection of lingerie per his preferences. Silky pastel panties, a lace rose camisole, layered pink petticoat, and sheer stockings. He stood at the edge of the canopy bed, mesmerized. I'm gonna need your help with this. Absolutely. That's why I'm here. Well, you need to remove my blade and put it over there against the wall. Before that revelation registered, I noticed he removed his jacket. I was hit by the quiet collision between expectation and truth. When you realize the body in front of you is a map written by fate and chemistry. Thalidomide, colamida. Here the former had caused the latter. Thalidomide baby. Instead of arms, he had flippers. And for a beat, I was shocked, but only for a beat, because dignity, always dignity, that was the unspoken rule. The sacred rhythm of this work. Mercifully, we could immediately indulge and delve into frippery. Oh, everything is so pretty. I love pink. Me too. Always pink, pink. It's perfection. He settled into the middle of the canopy bed, and I removed his leg and put it out of the way. A sort of rose-lace silk over his head. Slinky silk panties pulled up his thigh. A single sheer stocking unfurled along his leg. A folded petticoat pulled to the waist and flared around him. Added a cascade of long, wavy blonde hair. The thick golden locks flew over his shoulders and draped onto his slippers. Prevailing with dignity, just before the final touch, soft makeup, we made our way to the bathroom, my arms around his torso as we moved as one. Significant assistance was required. Prevailing with dignity, I caught myself wondering, how did he drive here? How does he eat? How does he live day to day in a world built for a different body? Back centered on the canopy bed, I blushed his cheeks and glossed his lips. I queued up soft girly music and wheeled the huge mirror to the edge of the bed for the big reveal moment. a halo of soft like circlekin, a fan with the blonde hair whipping over his shoulders and ruffled the petticoat layers. Sweet young thing. In the mirror, he wasn't smaller or stranger. He was whole, lit from within. The tilt of his chin, the gleaming eyes whispered the same mantra, I am here, beautifully. Time to savor the moment, too rare to name, pausing at the crossroads of pink light and unspoken awe. You look up at the layers of froth and smile broadly. So, Missy, do tell. Are you not pink perfection? Oh, yes, yes. And what? What do you desire? A pink bow for your hair? Oh, of course. And I'd like to, try a little bondage. Total eclipse. Pause. Internal. Good God, man, are you not helpless enough? External. Oh, my, sweet young sissy Missy. Oh, damn on distress. Persuasive guidance. Coerced and cajoled. Captured in the male gaze. Internal. In that thrilling moment of self-reflection and revelation, I saw the immense power of letting go, of surrender. Fragile and fearless. Bound by the dream they dare to live. External. Where do you find that pink rope?
All right, Sam Martin, ladies and gentlemen. Cheer for one more time. All right, next up to the mic, we're going to bring up a guy maybe more known for his tours than his poetry, but he's going to read something by one of David's old buddies, Mr. Bill Walsh, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, this was something that Mr. Amram gave me a couple of years ago, and so I'll read this. So in America, when the sun goes down, and I sit on the old broken down river pier, watching the long, long skies over New Jersey, and sense all that raw land that rolls in one unbelievable huge bulge over to the west coast, and all that road going, and all the people dreaming of the immensity of it. And in Iowa, I know by now, the children must be crying in the land where they let the children cry. And tonight the stars will be out, and don't you know that God is Pooh Bear? The evening star must be drooping and shedding her sparkler dims on the prairie, which is just before the coming of complete night that blesses the earth, darkens all the rivers, cups the peaks, and folds the final shore in. And nobody knows what's going to happen to anybody besides the full-on rags of growing old. I think of Dean Moriarty. I even think of old Dean Moriarty, the father we never found. I think of Dean Moriarty. Thank you, Kevin.
In case any of you are visiting Lowell and get lost, I met way back in 1994 Bill Walsh. He was just walking down the street, and I said, "Can you give me directions to get back so that I can get on the turnpike?" And he gave me directions. I said, "Well, I think I've got it. Let me drive you back to where you live." He said, "No, I'll walk." I found out later on he's walking not only the entire city of Lowell, but all 5 boroughs in a suburb of Lowell called New York City, and taken pictures and written about that. And he's my favorite of anybody that read Kerouac. other than Kerouac himself, or equally. And he was an English teacher for a long time, and he's very modest, but he's really the soul of
Bill Walsh, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's hear it for the band one more time, ladies and gentlemen. David Amram, Twigg, Rene Hart, the incomparable Jerome Harris on guitar. We are into the last hour of the program. We are just over halfway through the list. So I will ask everybody who's reading to limit yourself to one piece from this point forward. If we could just, so everybody gets a chance to read. How will we do? Do you guys need to take 5 or anything? Or are we good to keep going? We're going to take a quick 5-minute break so the band can refresh themselves and re-energize a little bit. And then we will pick it back up very shortly. Thank you guys. Take care of your wait staff. Let's hear it one more time for Fuse Bistro for letting us take the place over here on a Sunday. And we'll be back in just a moment.